Welcome back, everyone, to Weather for Weather Geeks. Of course, I've had quite a bit of time off lately. Boy, it's hard to get back into the swing of things when you've been off for as long as I have been. I was here for 2 days last week, but I've been out for most of the last 2 weeks. I was at the American Meteorological Society annual conference out in Lake Tahoe 2 weeks ago, and then I had some vacation time last week. But now we're back in the swing of things, and coming back to a pretty quiet day. You know, earlier in the day today, and even last night, we were pretty concerned about a decent severe weather event for us here towards the end of the afternoon today. As time has worn on today, I've become a little less impressed with it. It doesn't look like things are going to come together for a big or even moderate event. Not to say there can't still be a couple of heavy storms around, but it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be a real hit or miss, and most of us may get away with a dry period late this afternoon and this evening. One thing for sure, it's hot outside. I'm still sweating from walking in the door today. 87 degrees up at the Youngstown Warren Airport. Newcastle's at 88. We've got an 88 over at the Akron-Canton Regional Airport. And yeah, it's humid as well. Here's the dew point. Dew points are in the upper 60s, lower 70s. And if you're familiar, or at least somewhat familiar with dew points by this time of the year, when we're talking upper 60s, lower 70s, that's pretty darn uncomfortable. That's that's more like Florida. So here's a look at the heat index values. 90 is what it actually feels like, 95 Newcastle, and heat index, similar sort of to wind chill in the winter. In the summer, when we have high humidity, your body has a harder time cooling off. It doesn't cool off as efficiently, and so due to the lack of evaporational cooling from the sweat on your skin, it can feel warmer than it actually is when you have high amounts of humidity and not much of a breeze, kind of like we do today. There's a decent breeze out there, so these heat index values are not through the roof. It doesn't feel like 100 anywhere, but yeah, it feels hot enough. The radar's pretty quiet as I record this at about 2:15 up in northwestern Pennsylvania. This is up in Crawford County. Couple of small thunder showers up there, and then down towards the I-70 corridor from about Dover and Tuscarawas County on south towards Cambridge, right where 77 meets 70. A couple of non-severe cells there. There's hardly any lightning with them. Elsewhere, things are pretty quiet for the time being. We've got the hot, we've got the humid air, and the atmosphere is fairly unstable as well. Here's a look at the latest CAPE values right here. And when I say CAPE, what I'm talking about, is convective available potential energy. How much energy is there in the atmosphere this afternoon? And the higher the energy, the more the atmosphere can lift, the more buoyant it is, and the higher your chances of getting some thunderstorms. Well, as you can see, despite the really warm and humid air, these CAPE values aren't really through the roof this afternoon. They're high. They're up above 1,000 joules per kilogram, and that's in the range where the atmosphere is unstable. But it's not a super unstable atmosphere. In fact, the farther north you are, the less and less unstable it gets, and the higher amounts of instability are down towards the Ohio River, and that's where I suspect the highest number of thunderstorms will be before the afternoon is through today. So that's the instability. We're looking for some relief from the heat and humidity, and I think it's going to come eventually. Here's a look at the current dew points. Again, I mentioned they're in the 60s and 70s here, but look out to the west. They're dropping down into the 50s, even some 40s out here, and so that's where an air mass eventually is coming from. That's coming our way at the end of the week. So we've got that to look forward to. Good news in store for the 4th of July holiday weekend. All right. So let's head into the future then, and I'm going to bring up the latest high-resolution rapid refresh model. This is a real new model in terms of, or at least relatively speaking, it's pretty new. It's been around for a few years, but it's only been operational for a short amount of time, and we only use this going out to about 12 hours. It updates once an hour. It tends to self-correct. In other words, it has an algorithm that every hour sees what's on the radar, adjusts its computations accordingly. Now, sometimes it leads us astray. Sometimes it's a little overdone in terms of number of thunderstorms here in the summer season, but a lot of times it does a pretty good job. Anyway, here's the future radar on the rapid refresh at 4 o'clock. A couple of hours from right now, as you can see, still not much going on. A couple of backyards may get a downpour around this time, but most of us won't. It's 4 o'clock. Here's 5 o'clock. Picked up a little heavy cell over there towards Akron and Canton. Here at 6 o'clock, still not much. And then 7 o'clock, so this is turning into a bit of a bust of a severe weather event for us because we just don't have enough of a trigger, enough of there's not a strong front pushing through. There's not enough, kick in the atmosphere to get the air rising really quickly and form a lot of thunderstorms. They're going to be real spotty. So let me zoom out here. Here's 7 o'clock this evening. I'll fast forward a couple of hours to 9. At this point, it does spin up a thunderstorm in a few spots. Notice it's getting more active down towards the Ohio River after sunset this evening. Here's 11 this evening. Again, south of I-70. That's where the most numerous storms are, but there's a few around, perhaps south and east of Youngstown. So I don't want you to take away from my thoughts here that this is going to be just a completely dry day everywhere for the rest of the day, but it's not going to be as active as we originally thought. And that's good news because a lot of people have outdoor plans this time of the year. Now, middle of the night tonight, let's go forward then. Here's 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. We may get a decent round of showers and storms here, but it doesn't seem like the ingredients would come together necessarily for severe weather in the middle of the night tonight. But ironically, that might be the most active period in terms of number of backyards that actually get some rain. It may actually be middle of the night for tonight. So we're still under the slight risk in the yellow area here. That's a Storm Prediction Center term. It goes slight, moderate, and high. High risks are very rare, a couple a year maybe. Moderate risks are pretty rare for us. We might get under a moderate risk once, twice, maybe 3 times a season. The slight risk in the yellow, we have a dozen of these days, maybe per summer. Slight is a word I don't like to use because while the overall risk that your backyard gets a damaging wind gust might be pretty low, slight just is a little too la-di-da. I like to say enhanced risk, a higher risk than just a typical summer day is what I like to talk about when we're in this kind of zone. So we're still in that zone. We're not going to totally let down our guard, but again, most backyards we're going to luck out, I think, for the rest of the day today. Here's the risk of wind damage. We're talking 58, 60 miles per hour or higher. Definitely a highest risk down along the lower Ohio River Valley. Southern Indiana, western Kentucky, 30% there. It's 15% around our neck of the woods. All right, so once we're done with today and head into Wednesday, I still think we have a chance of seeing a spotty shower and storm on Wednesday, and there could be some severe weather on the East Coast on Wednesday, so we're talking maybe over towards I-95. But back here, any thunderstorms should be pretty garden variety. What I mean is some thunder, some lightning, a downpour, typical summer stuff. Probably no severe weather on Wednesday. And then finally, that front that I showed you that's way out over the Midwest, finally is going to come through on Thursday. Here's Thursday afternoon. It's going to kick up more storms out east. Maybe one more shower or thunderstorm here through midday on Thursday. By the end of the day, we're clearing out. It's going to turn less humid, and that is going to set the stage for fabulous weather for the 4th of July. Should be partly sunny, mostly sunny, low humidity, very comfortable. Your eye is certainly drawn, though, down towards the bottom of the screen. Hopefully my head's not covering it. Tropical Storm Arthur, first named storm of the year in the Atlantic. It's going to cause some rough weather. It looks like primarily Thursday into Thursday night along the beaches of the Carolinas. A lot of people vacationing, of course, around the 4th of July, so this is a big concern. And I think Friday morning could still be kind of tough down towards Myrtle, certainly the Outer Banks of North Carolina. But by Friday afternoon, this is going to be accelerating north and east. And so the Outer Banks, and then certainly once you're down towards Hilton Head and Myrtle, smooth sailing for the holiday heading into the weekend. And smooth sailing for us looks like a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Real quick look at long-range temperatures here. Notice it's not going to be hot for the 4th of July. We're probably, the model here has 72. I could see where maybe it's 74, 75 on the 4th. Low humidity, perfect day. Maybe even a little cool for some to jump in a pool or something, but boy, I'll tell you, it's gonna be just overall fantastic. And then we're back to the 80s, it looks like, for several days once we're done with the 4th. So cooler weather at the end of the week, less humid weather, back to the kind of weather similar to what we're having right now, looks like, for next week. All right, that's Tuesday's weather for Weather Geeks. I'll keep you updated on social media throughout the evening on anything that's on the radar. Thank you for watching, and be sure to watch my forecast tonight on 21 News at 6 and 11.